now, before we go into talk about the in the conscious, before we get into the conscious and the subconscious, and those are sloppy, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go and talk about one more thing from last time we talked, and that was about 4 being a complete number. But I wanted to bring to the point that there are also 4 chambers in the heart. The heart is like a fist. I'm going to draw a heart as a circle. But a heart has an opening chamber from the top. All the blood, which is life, which comes from a stone to the skeleton, goes down, and the chamber opens up. Now, in the heart, this is where we're going to put 4 like a cross. We're going to have, and if you ever remember the Matrix, the Oracle is who she knew what was going to happen before it happened. Because she represented something we call the subconscious, which is complex. Subconscious or the heart, and it can be meaning different variations, but the heart subconscious is always a woman. So she's a receiver. There's always got a giver and a receiver, but the woman is the most complex because she's a creator. We don't know what she's doing, what she's going to create somehow. So let's just tie it all together, subconscious and conscious. And let's put the heart here, the 4 chambers. One, like I'll get back to the oracle. So the heart has 2 oracles. One oracle on this side where everything is blue and everything raises up, out, where the veins are, like the blue bloods and red bloods. Everything goes down to generation. Everything goes up into regeneration in this part. Alright? So life and all that we think comes from this conscious mind. You can call it the chief, the brain, where eternity lays. All things are possible because all things exist in an idea, in my thoughts. It's existing up here consciously. What I know is me to be conscious. And my subconscious down below is what I am. So the subconscious and the conscious are one. Because conscious is what I know, subconscious is what I am. What I know is what I am, and what I am is what I know. So they're interchangeable. There's nothing interchangeable about them. So a lot of times, a lot of us have an Oracle 1. This is an Oracle 2. That they also call the atrium. You got a left and right atrium. But once it opens up in the storehouse, the blood goes in, it pumps, it can open up another again. Now it goes in more, and then it opens up at the bottom so that all of our organs can receive information. So every organ that we have receives information from above. And from above, there's synapses, there's the brain neurons, there's the glandular system, the glandular tree, and the vagus nerve, which comes down and the heart and to the body, and it creates what we are. We only are what we know. You can't be other than what you know. You are what you know. And what I know is what I am. But the problem is that though we have these 2, conscious and subconscious, a lot of individuals are unaware, so they're unconscious. Hope you can see that. There's 3 words, just like it's 3 in everything, 4 in everything, there's 3 words. People are unconscious, but they're conscious. And a lot of times they're using their emotion, which is down here. Emotions are complex, and because we don't know what's going on, we don't know the cause. Conscious is the cause. We don't know it's because of what we think to know. It's a cause. It's our perception. Our perception is dark to us. Remember the last video, I said we don't know what we're thinking. I've asked a lot of people in the midst of their thinking, are you thinking? And they would say, no, I'm not thinking, I wasn't thinking. Most people don't know that they're in imagination. Before you do anything, you have to be imagining first. You cannot be imagining anything without knowing to do anything. When you read Job, what did Job say? The thing that I fear the most has come upon me. So what he feared, he saw and understood that he feared this. So if you understand that you fear something, that means that you had to see it. You had to dwell on it. You had to see it come before you can know that you feared something, or the thing you feared the most has come upon you, because you couldn't know that it was the thing you feared the most without entertaining that thought first. So unconsciously, we are entertaining thoughts. And if you read in the Bible, it says, don't entertain angels unaware. Sometimes entertain angels unaware. That's what Paul said. So angels unaware, though, if you look at the word angels, in Hebrew, it means malakim. There's no me malakim. That's the word that it stands for in Hebrew is malakim. But angel means a dispatcher. It's like a messenger. It's ideas. So it makes more sense when you say, don't entertain ideas unaware. Sometimes entertain ideas unaware. And which is the cause of all of our suffering. To prove this point, I was working one day and this guy came up to me, was working as an off-duty officer. He came up to me, he said to me, brother, do you know about the subconscious mind, which is down here below where everything is? Well, the subconscious mind is inner, objective mind is outer. And everything that we see outer is objective, everything we feel or create is subjective. But in this case, talking about the heart, what I was talking about, the guy said the subconscious is the spiritual creator, is the creator of all things, that and the other. I said, I agree with you, but it's not only that. But he argued with me and said, no, the subconscious mind, he wanted to talk about the subconscious mind a lot. What? The subconscious mind is very important, for it is the creator for which we can't see. It creates everything that we cannot see. But I was telling him that you cannot have a subconscious mind without having a conscious mind. I said the conscious mind is very important to have. It is the most important thing to have. I don't care if you talk about the subconscious mind. She's the receiver. The conscious mind is the giver. I said, I don't care if you talk about the subconscious mind. And he went on and on. And so he said to me, brother, I had a cup of coffee in my hand at the time. He said, brother, if I knocked that cup of coffee out your hand and I ended up in the back of a police car, why did I do that? And I told him, well, brother, if you don't understand why you did it, then you're emotional. And you're only thinking from emotions. You're unconscious of what you thought to put you there in the first place. So for you to naturally knock something out my hand and you ended up in the back of the police car, you asked me, how did I get there? Well, I don't want to be around you because you're not consciously aware of what you're thinking and why you're doing it. Because what we're thinking, no matter if we're aware or unconscious of what we're thinking or not, is going to go down and create anyway. Remember, he said, I shall give you the desires of your heart. I shall give you, that's a giver, the desire. And everyone has a desire. I don't care if it's a desire to have no desires, it's still a desire. I shall give you the desire of your heart. And what you're consciously aware of, whether you say to yourself on your surface mind, I want to be rich, famous, or whatever it is, if you don't believe that, and you're aware of being poor, aware of lacking, aware of any that is not what you want to be, your heart is only going to receive the impressions from above. It is not only receiving impressions from above, it's receiving impressions from the outside world too. So if you look at life, I'm going to erase this and go back to the mind, to the heart, but if you look at anything in this world, we are only, I've lost my train of thought, so I'm going to go, we're only casting forth the enchantments of what we're aware of in our solitary time, or what we're aware of ourselves to be, or what we're interpreting from the outside world. Remember, I told you from the beginning that everything, life is coming from us and is being projected on a black screen or the veil of space. Like I said, it's like a mirror effect. You ever heard of the mirror effect? So you're subjectively what you are, life. Remember, he said, I have life in myself. So God said, I have life in myself. So life is in us. And everything that's in us is being projected on the black screen of space as the twin. And we see these things, and when we see it, we're persuaded or interpreting them objectively. And then we're receiving those impressions back and back. This is how a telephone works. You only receive the vibration of your voice back to you as it bounces off like a metal phone through wires. It's copying off the body. So you're going to receive an echo. The echo, if bounced against the wall, will come back to you. You will hear the echo. Most people are confused about the world because they're being persuaded by things on the outside of them. And there's such thing as the I in me. Listen how that sounds. The I in me. The I represents self-existence. But the body or human beings, when I say self-existence, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the life in me. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how my heart was built. I don't know how everything was sewn together. I know that it came from a force within me. I know that it was built in me. I know it comes from atoms and molecules and things like that. But I cannot do it myself. So I do not talk about I am as being a man, even though he is a man. I'm talking about him being a supernatural being. But the I is self-existent. It's what I know. It's what I'm aware of and everything that I'm aware of. The M is like a little attachment on the sun. It is to be. So this word is a lowercase I, means to be. So what I know is what I am to be. So it's I am. So when you look at his name back in Exodus, he said, tell the people what my name is. He said, my name is that I am. So what I know to be, that is what I'm going to be, right? So you can't escape I am that I am. I am is forever, eternity, existing in infinity. So who he is, and we take the name of that in vain all the time when we say I'm, because I'm is just a short word for saying I am. So I'm is in vain, or I am, because we're always saying something silly. I am poor, I'm rich, I'm gonna kill this dude, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. All the stuff that we say, we don't understand that we're taking that name in vain, and we're casting forth enchantments from ourselves unto others, and we're casting that forth, and we end up doing it one day, casting forth. So I am that I am. So in reality, in his life, you have to be careful about how you mention I am. I am is his name from forever. And I'm not taking away from Yahuwah, but remember, that's even 4. I am is 2 letters. It's 2 in the same. I is 1, am 2. Now, a bridge. You need a bridge, right? Let's count this bridge as just connected. I am 1, and then 3, 4. I am. So it's just saying what I am is what I am, or what I am right now is that all I know I am. If I am something else, I'm gonna be that. It's that I am. So it's still 4. Let's get back to our situation in the world where men don't know causes, and so they mess up and don't know the reason for life. Job means where's my father? So you see Job going through all of the horrors of the world, but Job represents humanity. It's a state of humanity as well. We're all Job, right? So we're looking for where's my father? All the hurt and suffering we're going through, but we came here to suffer. Suffering is a part of us, right? So suffering means experience as well. So don't be scared of the word suffering. We came here to experience. This life is an experience for us. At the end of the day, we shall rise as victors. So don't worry about it. My whole deal here in life is to create a space of positivity. I know that the negative exists. I know the negative exists because the negative is something that is heavy. It's heavy, it's dark, it's aggregated, which means it comes together. If you ever look at a negative picture, it's seen. It comes from those things that's not seen to a negative, which is seen. So negative, like I pointed out last time, is light, but it's actually darkness. And this is the trick that people get mixed up in. Because men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Simple. But they didn't know it was a switch. Negative is actually a darkness, and positive is light, but it can't be seen, but it's in the darkness. So that's why it's in the darkness. So it's heavy, dark, aggregated, and gravitational, because it's pulling downward. We're planted down on the ground. We want to fly, but it's negative, it's gravitational, it's generative. And generative is producing. So we're always generating ourselves and then regenerating ourselves. So generation after generation is happening to us at this time in contemporary world. The world is a cycle. So being that the world is a cycle, let's get into this. I hope we understand the subconscious mind. I can get back to it a little more, but right now I'm gonna go on to something that I might not get to go through. I'm gonna do about 4 different lessons, make them long enough for where you can understand it, and hopefully those who will listen and not fear this knowledge won't call illumination evil. I don't know why people call illumination evil. I guess for what they thought it stands for. Illumination is evil because when they see this triangle on top and this eye in the middle, they think that it's Illuminati. But illumination, it just stands for 1, 2, 3, Trinity, and it just talks about creation. That's why the pyramids are built like that. The pyramids are just talking about, we can talk about the core, right? We can say that it's the head. We can say it's a heart. We can say it's the loins. It's just creative, right? And then we talk about Orion's star. It's funny because when you look at the stars of Orion's belt going this way, this is exactly how the sun goes. So you say, even though this is the west, you could call it the west. Let's say it's the east. It rises, hits a peak, sets. So when you look at the pyramids, the Egyptians really built it beautifully in accordance to what it is. But illumination is not evil. I don't know why. God is light and there's no darkness in him. Illumination means enlightenment. People fear what they don't know and understand. I'm trying to take that fear, well, not trying to, I'm just trying to give a clear understanding that there's nothing to fear here but fear itself. You heard that before. Don't fear this. This is the age. It's always been the age of knowledge. Anywhere you can learn is knowledge. So to be illuminated, God is light. There's no darkness in him. But man loved darkness rather than light. So don't dwell in darkness. To be illuminated is to be enlightened. It's to give information and stop thinking of God, because you're thinking of God through your imagination. You haven't seen him. No one's seen him but the Son, right? I can explain that too. And it takes nothing but the Son to reveal the Father in him, right? So you're thinking of God. You need to think of something in a point in space. So you don't really know him. You're thinking of him. And then you might put any face you deem he is into your imagination. Because you'll say that he's this, God is this. Everything is determined by how you feel or what you think. It's not factual, but you'll make it factual. Remember, in Proverbs it says that everything that's pure is pure in another man's eyes. All things are pure to him that is pure. What that means is whatever he believes to be true is true. It doesn't matter. So, and all things will come to pass when you believe it. It doesn't matter if someone says you're wrong. Because what truth is you might want to hear this. Truth, my people, is not of earth, because everything here dies. Earth is death and decay. So everything here dies on earth. But truth is an ever-expanding illumination. We're always running into truth. It's funny how truth can be settled, and then truth can change into another truth. It can change. I went from Christianity, then I went to another, which is the Hebrew Israelites. And then I traveled to another out, and then I traveled more, and then I realized that I can change my truth. But I thought truth was steadily the truth, but I realized that truth is the ultimate, because truth will reveal itself what it is from heaven. So when the Messiah, when Pontius Pilate asked the Messiah, what is truth? And he said, truth is of heaven. It means truth comes from above, from a conscious perception of something. And truth can be built based off of how you were raised. If you've seen something repetitively, because the brain works off a pattern. We're a pattern man. So everything is built off a pattern. And if it's replicated many times, repetitive, then we're going to deem that to be true, because we've seen it more than once. And if that's all we've seen more than once, it must be true. And we'll live our life from that trueness. There's a lot of people in this world that know how to live their life past what they believe or what they know, what they're conscious of. And they're deemed ignorant for that. I say don't deem them ignorant for what they don't know, because we all know something at some time. And then now we know something. So pattern is what we are. We're a pattern man. A kaleidoscope, if you look at it, is full of patterns. A kaleidoscope, I don't know how to spell it, but a kaleidoscope has a pattern. It has a center, and then it has a bunch of patterns that come out, like exhaling. So all we do is two things. We inhale, and then we exhale. So that's what the pattern does. It comes from itself, it exhales and inhales back in. So that's all it's doing. But truth is based off of what you know. Truth, to chase truth is a choice. Everything is a choice. Doesn't matter. You heard Kanye West say before. You didn't understand what Kanye West was saying, because he said it so passionately, and it offended a lot of people. And I don't think that he was trying to offend a lot of people. I don't think Kanye West is ever trying to offend people. I just that the way he's off. Everything is a choice. I tell people when I worked as off duty at these Oakland, they asked me was I scared, and why did I deal with people the way I dealt with people. I said because I choose. I feel like, oh wow, yeah, it's a choice. People are looking for peace, but it's a choice. It's a choose this day who you will serve. Everything is a choice. So if I want to be in a relationship and I want my relationship to bloom, I have only to be conscious of a beautiful relationship. So what I know is what I am. So if I want a beautiful relationship, I think of having a beautiful relationship. But I can't feel that from the outside. Because remember, everything on the outside is dead. Everything dies. Everything comes back alive in a cycle. I'll get the time in a minute. But everything's a cycle. I'm doing this wrong. Everything is a cycle. So choice, peace is a choice. You want a good relationship? That's a choice. You want your money? That's a choice. You want to be someone that's remembered, that did something great? That's a choice. But we must know what we are. Consciously we are. Because every man here has a gift. But his gift cannot be conformed to by the outside world, because Everyone is living by an idea, and we rise and fall by our ideas. So man is an idea. He lives by an idea. His ideas come from above, and then it is generated on earth below. So here we have an idea, and then on earth, that kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. Everything that we perceive is coming from above, and it comes down. We're passing through the fourth dimension always. So when I speak about my in one moment transgress the transformation, I talk about the past, I talk about present, and I talk about the future. I call it a 1,000-eyed present here because you only live in the present, you only have the moment. The future is just a point in time that we look forward to, but that we think about that in the present. The past is just a point in time that we are supposed to have whirled in the back of us and has disappeared and only left in our memories, but for some reason we bring it to the present. And everything happens here in the present. So 20 years ago, if I was wronged by somebody and I still think about it and I'm looking for revenge, well, I'm being led by my past and my present. If I fear something that I haven't even seen yet, and I think that something horrible is going to happen in my future, I have anxiety. But why do I have anxiety? Did it happen yet? No, but I'm entertaining what's going to happen. So I'll be like Job. That's why he said don't entertain angels unaware. I'll be like Job, I'm entertaining things in my present for my future. No doubt, God gives us the desires of our heart. And I believe that this should happen, and I dwell on it long enough. Whatever you dwell on long enough becomes actuality. If you dwell on it with such intensity, if it's intent from above, the heart receives it. And if you're doing this unconsciously, we react. Emotion is a reaction. That's why emotional intelligence is important, because you must have a reaction that is reasonable, that you understand. But most people don't understand why they react. They react because of the dwelling. But a constant entertainment and focus and internal review on repeat over and over and over and over again. Don't be the reactor who doesn't understand why they react. People will get mad at this message because I used to be there. Man, I'm horrible. You couldn't tell me nothing. I wasn't ready to hear anything from anybody, but I was all into whatever I believed in, my religions and all these things. Oh, to go back, I said we're thinking of God. You want to think from God, because that's where everything is coming from. It's coming from God. God is to experience Him. You want to experience God, and once you start experiencing God, then you start walking. You have no need to pray or to observe words written by people who experienced it. So when you read the Bible, you're observing experiences. Some people might take it as far as to think that experiences means observing experiences, someone else's experiences means knowledge. Well, I certainly say that you have knowledge to read and contain information that already happened, but did you experience it? So what are you talking about? We don't need to talk about observations. We need to talk about experiences. We're observing. Knowledge is not better than imagination. Like Albert Einstein said, imagination is better than knowledge. Yeah, I can read the Bible, and if I know the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, what does that serve me if I don't living it or haven't experienced it? So think from God. Experience God. He is contemporary, forever and ever, now. He tells you, I'm the past, present, and the future. He'll tell you that. If you read Revelations, you read Ecclesiastes, if you read those words, he'll tell you that I am the past. I am the present. He's all three. And that too, my friends, is the Trinity. The past and the present is where you want to be, because this is what God is always. Yeah, I have past, but that past don't have to be remembered as long as I switch it in my present. I have a future, but my future must be built in my present. You can't build a future in the future, you have to build it in the present. Whatever you want to become can't be done in the past because you already experienced that. It can't be done in the future because you have to experience it. You have to experience it now to experience it in the future and to change your past. So you cannot do anything unless you do it in the present, and you have to change. You can't wait on something and say, I'm going to wait for this. You have to do it now. It comes from you. So to get that, we go from idea to earth. So everything that we have up here is birth below. And it takes 369, Nikola Tesla, to do that, which is also 6. Don't get scared. 6. This represents life, or the energy, I should say, in the Hebrew. But not only that, E equals 18, which is Chi in Hebrew, which represents life. Not only that, 369, which Nikola Tesla used, represents energy, life. Don't get scared of these numbers. They're numbers. Numbers not to be scary. Even if I say something different, if I say, what is I believe on the back of the dollar? I knew it. Coeptus, I think it is. Novos Ordo Claptus, like that. But basically, but it's back of the dollar just means that he who rules the underworld, or she who rules the underworld, or whatever it is. The underworld is Earth. We don't know higher realm. We haven't really been there, have we? We may be passing through it, but we don't see it, like I said in my other. So all this stuff is energy. But this is also the trimester of a woman. First trimester, second trimester, third trimester. And then she gives birth to life. That's why energy or life. So you hold something in life, right? So everybody's pregnant, but you also realize that it's the core too. The present is the core. Just you're the core. You're the core. Everyone is the core. And looking at it in science, everything is the core. We look at numbers. Numbers. It's beautiful because that's what God is. Numbers, but I'm scared of numbers anyway because I don't care how big they are. Still, just numbers. If you look at it, there's nothing but one, and then a 1-1, it's 2. So if you look at the number of million, it's just a million smaller ones. That's all. You got a million smaller ones positively, and a million smaller ones negatively. So negative 1 million. It's like polarity. What's cold only down in degree, and what's hot is up in degree. It's like polarity to know too, because polarity means a temperature. Let's say if I have a temperature mark, this is my temperature mark, right? My temperature mark only stands for up and down, a temperature gauge. So everything down is negative, everything up is positive. Peace is positive. Chaos and violence is dark. Hate is negative, but on an upper scale, hate is just love, higher. Then you can reach it because love, look, it's interchangeable. It can be turned into hate, and hate can be turned into love, right? So we have to be careful with the way we think, but it's not that easy to explain it to somebody as to actually start to experience it. You know, sometimes to where we try to find a way to understand these outside again, and it's hard not to be controlled by the outside objective world because that's what we see and that's what we understand. I hope I'm making this clear. So it's easy. People cannot find themselves, and I'm trying to teach people to find themselves. You can't find yourself being in conformity. Conformity, you conform. You're like water. Remember, water is consciousness. I call wine subconscious because water into wine, you're going to create exactly what you were thinking about. If you're baptized in water, baptized in this understanding. This is all spiritual. I don't care about the physical part. You can do the physical part if you want to. I'm just talking about spiritual. Wine is water turned into wine. So it's a substance of things not seen, things hoped for, and things that's seen. So this is faith. Everything is faith. You gotta have faith in everything. And your seed, which comes from above, the brain, which has a lot of billions of seeds in it, is going to drop down those seeds into your subconscious complexity. It's going to the woman, or to create the child. The child is the offspring of the man and the woman. So a man and a woman face to face looking at each other, they're looking at the opposite of each other. You know, represents negative. She's a negative being. Man is always represented in positive because I'm a giver, she's a receiver. But the woman is so important because she is the creator of things unseen to things that's seen, and we don't know how she does it. We can search it, look at it, but we can't do it. We can even try to mimic it, but we still can't do it. We'll continue to try to do it, but don't ever think that you're going to outthink God because you didn't create him, he created you. And I'm talking about God from point in space, right in the corner somewhere, where people think that he's sitting on a throne. I'm not trying to downplay anybody, but I'm trying to tell you that this stuff is more real than you ever could imagine, because right now you're imagining God, thinking of him. So stop imagining God. It's more serious than that, because you're going to imagine something right into being. That's why Moses said, and I'm just paraphrasing, he said, you cannot think or cannot do according to your own vain imaginations. You can't, because you're going to just be thinking of stuff. You need to know him, but nobody wanted to know him. Nobody wanted to know God in them. Nobody wanted to press. He said, you speak to him, but that's how men are. In the book of Samuel, we want men to tell us what to do with God. He said, give us a king like all the other nations, right? To rule us. They God no more. They don't want that being which is in themselves. and want a man to do it for him. We always did. So imagine, is this just that? I don't know where I was, but yes, the woman is complex. She is complex, and she creates with complexity. That's why, not to say nothing about you women, but that's why a woman is complex and men are simple. Positivity is simple. This is just a law of, not even naturally speaking, I'm talking about spiritually speaking. Everything has only two genders, negative and positive. And I'm not taking anything away from what you can create in your imagination. If you want to create what you want to create to be, we can't stop that. We can tell you how wrong it is, or somebody can say how wrong it is from their point of view. But if you think that, well, you look behind every thought in creation. I want you to hear this too. Is a consequence. There's a consequence. This is so sloppy. There's a consequence behind every creative process. No matter what you are and what you do, there's a consequence. People don't really think about the consequences. They think about their creative process. And that consequence always comes behind it. So just realize that whenever you get into a certain state or a certain mood or whenever you do something, there's a consequence. There's a judgment. You reap what you sow. Sowing is a planting of thought, seeds dropping down to the heart to become a creator of what you are thinking and feeling. And what you're thinking and feeling, you're going to sow. You're going to sow that, it's going to grow like a flower, rooted in the ground until the fruits come up. The roots, the fruits. We only know the fruits, and we're more excited about seeing the fruits because we can see it. But the important part is that seed that's sown. So here it is, what I want on the inside, in the dark ground, which no one can see. This is my roots, my seed, my ship, and everything that I am comes up through here. So this is how life is on the earth. Those that don't know what to heaven. But on my next channel teaching, I'm going to talk about how to teach this to start creating beautifully in your life. If you're ready to listen, I'm ready to talk and teach.